Hello everyone, this is day 19, question 2 of our Leetcode activity next greater element. Next greater element of some element x in an array is the first greater element that is to the right of x in the same array. You are given two distinct zero base integers arrays nums1 and nums2 when nums1 is subset of nums2. Okay. So for every index for nums1, find index j such that nums1 I is equal to nums2 j and determine the next greater element for nums2 j in nums2. If there is no next greater element, then answer of this query is -1. Return an array answer for length nums1 dot length such that answer I is the next greater element as described above. So let us understand the question first. So see, for nums1, first element is 4. So we find 4 in nums2. So we have found 4 in nums2. So what is the next greater element for 4? There is no next greater element because there is just one element which is 2 and that is not greater than 4. So we write -1 for 4. So now find 1. Find 1 in nums2. 1 is here. So 1. So what is the next greater element? So next greater element is 3. So that cause that is the first greater element after 1 in nums2. So we just write 3 here for 1. Now 2. 2 is the last element, so there is no element further than 2. So that is simply -1. So answer will be -1, 3, -1 because for 4 in nums2, 4 there is no greater element. So -1. For 1 there is a greater element which is equal to 3. So this is 3. So this is the question. How we will solve this? We'll solve this using a map, a hash map, and a monotonic stack. So how we do this? Declare a map. This is our map. This is the key. This is value. So key value pairs are stored in map. And for and a stack. So we have declared a stack. Now for num in num2. So num in num2. So we are going to traverse nums2. While stack not empty. So this first of all the stack is empty. So this what we will do? This whole logic will be skipped and simply push num. So what is num right now? 1. So we will go further to 3. Okay. So now is our stack empty? No. Is our num greater than st dot top? What is our num? Num is pointing to 3. And what is our st dot top? 1. So yes, 3 is greater than 1. So what we do next? st dot top equal to num. So next is our map. So what our map will hold? st dot top will be our key. So st dot top is 1. So this 1 will be our key and equal to num. So that is the value will be 3. So for 1, 3 is the value. So for in the map we have stored this. Now again what we'll do, just we'll simply pop 1 as we have found its next getter element and we have stored it. And now we push what do we push? Num. So we push num, that is 3, and go further. When we go further again, is the stack empty? No. And is the num greater than st dot top? What is st dot top? 3. What is num? 4. So yes, num is greater. So again what we will do? We'll simply store this for 3. We'll store 4. That is for st dot top we will store num. So for 3 we will store 4. Now and we'll pop, we'll go further, and also will here we will push 4. So we have pushed 4. So for 2, so again, is the stack empty? No. Nums greater than st dot top. So num is 2 and top is 4. So is 2 greater than 4? No. So this whole will be skipped and just 2 will be pushed. And we are end of the second array, nums 2. So we simply stop this for loop. Now, what we have built? We have built a map which stores all the elements which have a greater value in nums2. So you can see one has one has a very next greater element which is 3. Also 3 also has a greater element 4. So these two values for nums2 we have stored here. For 4 and 2 there does not exist a greater element. So we have simply just not stored anything. We have just stored who have a greater element. Okay, now what do we do further? We do vector int answer. So we have declared a vector answer. So let me track that vector here. So now if next dot count num, dot count value is a method for map which simply returns 1 if that value given past value exists in the map, and it returns 0 if the value does not exist. So for int num in nums1, so we are traversing num1 right now. We are building the answer array. So num1 4. So next dot count 4. So does 4 exist in our map? Now don't be confused by this 4. We do not check the values, we check the keys. For count, we simply just check the keys. So is there a key value 4? No, it is 1 and 3. There is no 4. So we will go in else, and what will else do? Just push back -1. So you remember that what was -1 representing? That simply does not exist a greater element. That is what our map is also saying. What our map stores simply stores the elements which have a greater element. So if the value does not exist in the map, that means it does not have a greater element. So we just simply push back -1 for that element. Now we go further 1. Next dot count 1. Does 1 exist? Yes, 1 exists. So what we'll do? Answer dot push back next num. So we'll push back the value for the key, that is 3. Why value? Because we want to store the next greater elements value here, and that is what the key gives us from the map. Now again we go to 2. So does 2 exist? No, 2 does not exist. So we'll just simply do -1 again, and we are end of the nums1, and this is our answer. -1 3 -1. Let us check. Yes, correct. So we are correct. It is -1 3 -1. The answer is correct. Our algorithm is correct. Our logic is correct. So this is how we solve the question next greater element 1 using stack. Thank you.